Welcome to Talking Giants presented by SeatGeek. I'm your host, Bobby Skinner, here with my co-host, Justin Penik. We got our Saints preview. We're going to do so much of an in-depth preview of the New Orleans Saints game. Not really. Justin, you're alive. It's been confirmed you're alive and not dead. How are you feeling after your supposed jacuzzi pH thing?
I'm feeling much better now. Please, if this is a PSA for everybody who's living and alive and not dead like me. Please, if you ever go to an Airbnb, make sure that the pH in the hot tub is appropriate. It's a real thing. Look it up. And also, if you own a hot tub, don't put anybody in danger by making the pH bad and then putting yourself or others in your hot tub.
Was the pH too high or too low? Was it too acidic or too...
I don't know. It was just bad. It was just bad all around. I got marks on my legs, and I got nauseous, headache, and I had a fever for a little bit.
But he got drugged in a hot tub, and he's blaming the pH. You should steer away from Airbnb hot tubs, anyways. Like hotel ones, fine. Airbnb hot tubs, like definitely not do that.
I got desperate. I'm blinded by I love hot tubs.
Airbnb is a scam, anyways. So
no, I disagree. I love Airbnbs. I'm team Airbnb over hotel.
Wrong. You're just so wrong. All right, let's get into this episode, Justin. Glad to have you back. Where do you want to go first? So I have three things I want to do before we get in. Bring Jolly on for segments. We have Drew Lock starting. We have a little bit of Saints preview talking about, like, is this the Giants' best opportunity? Is this like the Giants' best chance to win a game this year? And then also, we did the mailbag question. Do you think that Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll will get fired on Wednesday with Danny? I'd like to get your opinion on what you think will happen, not what you want to happen. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with Drew Lock, because that's this Sunday's game. That was the decision. That's the news that was made since the last time that we had a show. So let's start there.
Yeah, I thought this was, if you're doing this based on football and Brian Daboll, like, I truly believe that this is the right decision if you're trying to win the game. If you're Brian Daboll, like, I think Drew Lock is like a significantly better quarterback than Tommy DeVito. Like, I don't understand how they thought that Tommy DeVito was going to be it. I think Daboll at times was adamant that it wasn't his decision, it was his decision, but you wonder if, like, ownership got involved somehow in any of that. I don't know, but this is the right decision. Now, this is the right decision if you're trying to win games. I'm not going to put myself in spin myself around trying to explain that they want to win and some fans don't want to win. But he's the better quarterback. You still saw bad versus the Cowboys, Justin. I did the film review, and it's like, my thing that was bothered is, like, he didn't err on aggression, right? Like, we thought if there was going to be Drew Lock mistakes, it'd be err on aggression. And if anything, he took like 3 sacks on plays that could have been big yardage plays or first down conversions, and he just kind of drifted in the pocket and took sacks. So hopefully, if you want to see him do well, he gets a little more aggressive against the Saints defense that isn't awful, but has become really bad. And then got better with the interim head coach.
Now you're interested to see, what Drew Lock could possibly do, because now you're not coming off of a short week. The short week was awful. Tommy DeVito's status was up in the air. You're traveling to Dallas. You're not home against Dallas on Thanksgiving. So, they had that little mini bye week. Now he has a full week where he's getting the first team reps, blah, 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 blah. But the decision to start Drew Lock, this just now makes me go back to the initial decision to start Tommy DeVito and ask, why, man? Why? If all it took was a lackluster, not good game against Dallas and that performance that Drew Lock had against Dallas to, all right, now we're going to snap the finger, change our minds again, and go with Drew Lock, the guy that's on a 1-year deal, and go away from the whole talking point of, maybe we could develop Tommy DeVito into something. I can live with that, even though I don't agree with it. I agree with the decision to start Drew Lock if you want to win football games, which I think at this point, with how many games left, we're still in early December, the Giants, Brian Daboll and Joe Schoen should want to go out there and you're not going to salvage this year, but just show any kind of freaking fight. But I go back to that initial decision to start Tommy DeVito. Why? Because Drew Lock was bad in the Eagles game and he was bad in the preseason, even though we know that he's a better quarterback than DeVito. Like, it goes back to that initial decision, and I hate it. I hate it even more.
Yeah, and like when we did that, it's like, okay, maybe there is, like, we haven't seen Tommy DeVito much. His preseason wasn't good, but he didn't turn over the ball. And maybe that's just what they value so much, is not turning over the football, which Drew Lock does.
I was willing to talk myself into, you know what, maybe Tommy DeVito is just going to take better care of the football. Maybe he's just going to be a better game manager. I was willing to talk myself into that. Maybe Drew Lock has looked so freaking awful, because that's what he was, Bobby, in the preseason before he got hurt, and in training camp, and then the back end of that Eagles game, he was awful. So I was willing to talk myself into that. Even if DeVito is like somewhat worse, that it's just worth it more to see him play and to see what you have in Tommy DeVito. I was willing to talk myself into that, but now we're one game removed from Tommy DeVito getting hurt and that Dallas performance, and that's what convinced them to stay with Drew Lock. This is an indecisive organization that when I thought that Joe Schoen and Brian Daboll were well thought out in their processes and made calculated decisions that were based on the future, it makes them seem like they don't know their ass from their elbow.
Yeah, and they've shown this 2 years in a row when it comes to this, the situation with Tyrod Taylor last year, and then this year with Drew Lock. And it's like, all right, you rubbed Drew Lock the wrong way, now he's a starter. But to me, I'm kind of over the Drew Lock, Tom. Like, there's not much to be interested in on this team, and one of the things I might be the least interested in is the current bad quarterbacks who's playing for us.
Right.
So with that said, is this their best shot to get a win for the rest of the year? You have this game versus the Saints. You have the home versus the Ravens, at Falcons, home versus Colts, and then finishing off in Philly. I don't think they're going to win this game, but this is, if there's any game that they can win, it is this game, despite the fact that they're injured like crazy. Their defense gives up the third most yards in the NFL. It's the 19th scoring D, but third most yards. They get interceptions, but they're missing Paulson and Debo. Their starting wide receivers right now are MVS, Valdez-Scantling, Cedric Wilson Jr., right? And you're like, oh, Cedric Wilson Jr., he's not very good. Well, he's not even the worst junior who's starting. Kevin Austin Jr., who I remember watching film of Sauce Gardner shutting him down at Notre Dame. Jawan Johnson and Foster Moreau are both dealing with injuries. They're missing Taysom Hill. But Justin, the Giants are going to be without Dexter Lawrence, Bobby Okereke, Deontay Banks, possibly Nacho and DJ Davidson on offense with Drew Lock at quarterback, without Andrew Thomas, Theo Johnson, most likely Jermaine Eleanor, possibly Evan Neal. But no one's crying about that last part. That the fact that the Saints can probably just run the ball the entire game.
And that's the thing, where the Giants have gone up. You mentioned that they're flawed defensively a little bit, and there's some stats where the Giants have gone up against bad defenses all year. It's like, oh, maybe this is a game where they could take advantage, and they just don't. They can maybe put together good drives, and that's what they did that's what they did with Daniel Jones, is they would put together good drives, but then you can't score in the red zone, or you have a field goal kicker that consistently misses kicks. And that's the Saints, however how flawed and hurt they are offensively, they're just going to run the ball. And the Giants couldn't stop it even with Dex and Okereke in the lineup. And now with those guys, those guys out, including Nacho, it's, how can you not predict just an absolute disaster that's going to happen on Sunday?
Like, my question for like what we're gonna see Sunday, the offense for the Giants with Drew Lock, like, again, there's a lot of different ranges of what you can get there, where it's like Drew Lock has one of his better games, or Drew Lock gets sacked 6 times and throws 2 interceptions. But defensively, it's just like, how bad will the running defense be without Dexter Lawrence and Bobby Okereke? Like, will they hit 10 yards per carry? Like that's my question, because they're not going to want to pass the ball, and they probably won't be in situations where they need to when they have Derek Carr at QB, no Taysom Hill, Olave and Rashid aren't there anymore. The tight ends are banged up. Like, they're in such an awful situation, but they have went 2-1 the last 3 games and been a good defense since going to New Jersey's own Darren Rizzi as their interim head coach. So the Saints are, I haven't looked at it, but I'm pretty confident that they're favored to win in this game.
-4.5.
Yeah, and but I do think that this is, if you told me the Giants are winning one game for the rest of the year, this would be it.
Yeah, maybe you could make an argument of the Colts if Anthony Richardson just makes a ton of mistakes.
One of those
but yet again,
Anthony Richardson games where he does nothing. The Colts defense, I hate the way they play, so a quarterback can kind of nothing gets disguised by the Colts defense, so you just go out there and do your basic reads and make some plays. But
I mean, you could say that, Anthony Richardson could complete 50% of it, which he hasn't been doing. Anthony Richardson actually has looked a little bit better last couple weeks. But you could say that he could have a day where he completes 50% of his passes or throws multiple interceptions, but the Giants don't force turnovers and they don't get interceptions. So
yeah, it'd be interesting. Now
they
that
also
they've
run the ball
broken the
too.
record of most games without an interception, it'll be interesting to see where they go from there. Justin, I want to talk to you about the Joe Shane, Brian Daboll. Will they be back? But first, I need to talk to you about Ray, Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglasses company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. That's almost as many listeners of Talking Giants. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all our outdoor adventures. Plus, if your shades ever go missing or taken an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. I mean, that's truly a game changer when it comes to the sunglasses game, right? Where I lose my sunglasses, I've broken sunglasses, I've gotten sunglasses, and then I put them on, like a day later, I'm like, I don't really like these this much. Shady Rays changes the game. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out the best deal this season. Go to shadyrays.com and use code GIANTS for 50% off 2+ pairs of polarized sunglasses. That's code GIANTS at shadyrays.com. Go get yours now. Shady Rays. You'll be glad you did. Justin, do you think that Joe Shane and Brian Daboll, or maybe just one of them, will be fired at season's end with 5 games left in the year?
As of now, no. I think they're safe.
I think they are too, right? Like, I kind of can, after watching and covering this team, I kind of know how John Mara ticks, and I genuinely think he wants to give them 4 years. He's going to look, I gave Dave Gettleman 4 years. I should give these guys 4 years. I think the biggest thing is going to be that they are the ones who decided to re-sign Daniel Jones, but John Mara sure as hell agreed with that decision, and he's not going to hold that strongly against them, and he does not want to fire them after 3 years, and that Brian Daboll won a playoff game and say they never got their opportunity to get, quote unquote, their quarterback. I think Joe Shane and Brian Daboll probably have sold them on one of Shedeur Sanders or Cam Ward as like, that's the guy who we're going to build around. And John Mara is going to give them a 4th year. I think he would ideally give them a 5th year, but we know how John Mara works, that in reality, they kind of get a 4th year to make it or break it. They're going to need to see significant improvement in year 4, but at the moment, I think they will. That being said, though, Justin, I think I'm like confident that's how John Mara feels right now. That's how John Mara feels right now.
There's a lot of football left.
They could lose 12 straight games. Like, if they lose these next 5 games, Justin, that's 12 straight games. That's a long time to be in a building and feeling negative and it just being a nonstop barrage. I've mentioned the polls. The Athletic did a poll. Like, you're going to have 4 out of 5 Giants fans wanting this guy gone, wanting these guys gone. You're going to have locker room issues to pop up, especially now that guys are, getting injured and not playing. It can get so much uglier than what it is right now that most people think they're safe, but no one is ruling out John Mara changing his mind because we've seen him do it before.
How many
times.
How many in a row did Pat Shurmur lose in 2019?
I believe it was 9 games in a row that he lost.
And they scored points that year. That was Daniel Jones' rookie year.
Yeah, they were 19th in scoring that year.
Like, come on, man. I think 2019.
But it's such a different scenario though, where you don't have a GM. No, but if you're going to
fire, yeah, go ahead, keep going.
You don't have a GM that's going to throw the head coach under the bus, and hey, maybe that does happen, and maybe John Mara gets fooled into firing the head coach and keeping the GM once again. But I just think because of the timeline of where it is, like if they kept Pat Shurmur for one more year, Dave Gettleman would have only gotten 3 seasons, in my opinion.
Right. Yeah.
Unless they obviously showed improvement. The issue is like you can't compare it to the Dave Gettleman thing because the timelines are so much different, right?
Yeah.
Where you had a first year head coach where people mostly felt good about Joe Judge after that year, and I think I don't want to go fully into this, but here's the thing that people forget when we're talking about Dave Gettleman getting 4 years. His third year was actually kind of sick. You know, that draft was really good, especially at the top with Thomas McKinney. You got depth piece on, day 3 that finished out their rookie contracts. And we always talk about, like, you feel better about the rookie class after the rookie year. And then you start to, really come to reality of what Darnay Holmes or Tay Crowder are. But after their rookie years, like starting nickel and starting linebacker on round 4, round 7, that's awesome. Shane Lemieux, we like what he can be. Special teamers and Cam Brown, Carter Coughlin. Free agency, they killed it. James Bradbury and Blake Martinez at the time were great signings. You didn't pay top of the market money. They ended up being top of the market players. Logan Ryan came in. I think people forget when talking about Gettleman getting 4 years that if he had the year 3 offseason every year, he would have been a good GM. But it's the issue is years 1, 2, and 4 off seasons were really bad.
Yeah, but he didn't. But here's the bottom line about what's been happening with the Giants the last couple weeks, kind of all year, and what's continuing to happen. National headlines are not letting up, and national talking points are not letting up every single time. And it was even worse this weekend.
They will, though, because they don't play on Thanksgiving anymore. They're not playing on Thanksgiving again.
I guess that's true, but oh my God, this weekend, did the former fucking Giants have a weekend? Leonard Williams with the pick 6, Julian Love makes some impact plays, and their return back to MetLife, and they're saying how, they're playing with the chip on their shoulder, and they're happier in their new situations, right? Every time that Saquon Barkley scores a touchdown, it's not go Eagles, it's F the Giants. Every time Xavier McKinney gets an interception, it's bad, man. And I guess you're right that they're not going to be playing on Thanksgiving.
And they're not going to have Sunday off to stew into their watching the other games. But here's the thing. If they lose 5 games in a row and the last game of that they lose is Saquon Barkley breaking the rushing record.
Correct.
That's where things can change. Like if they lose 5 games in a row, I think all bets are off the table. But I think right now, if the season ended right now, they'd be safe. But the issue is the season doesn't end right now.
Right. And the national punching, them being the national punchline to all these jokes, the butt of all these jokes. We'll see if it continues at the rate that it's continuing right now. It could end off with that exclamation point with Saquon Barkley breaking some sort of record the final week of the season. Or thank God, hopefully they sit him because the Eagles have some sort of bye and nothing is on the line. And they sit Saquon Barkley the final week of the season. That's my hope.
I think the rushing record will be on the line. I hope he plays at this point. Like let's see the reality of what everything is right now.
Yeah, but we know the reality of that situation is not actually the reality of what he would have been on the Giants and shit like that. So, but I know John Mara has to hate that. He has to hate that probably just as much as the losing, being the back end and being the punchline of all these national jokes. That's basically what got Joe Judge fired, is that he became a national embarrassment. And that's what the Giants are right now. The Giants are a national embarrassment more than just being chronic losers.
Yeah, but again, we'll see. It's 5 games left. They lose a lot of games. Things can change. But right now,
but now they're safe.
Right now, I view them as safe. The fan base is probably around 50-50 or so. I know the Athletic did their survey, but you have to think that those are people who are paying for the Athletic, so those are going to be diehard fans. We did it for Instagram, and for Brian Daboll, it was quite literally 50-50. It was separated by 7 votes out of 20,000 votes.
Wow.
And then Shane, there was I think 45% wanted to keep Shane, 55% wanted to keep or fire him, and we'll do those polls again final week of the season to see where people are at. But I think it's going to change a lot. They're going to lose a lot more and more support. All right, Justin. I mean, anything else before we bring on Jolly for segments?
No, can I talk about something?
Yeah, you could talk about something. Why don't you talk about something?
I'll talk to you about Captain Morgan. This episode is brought to you by Captain Morgan, the official spiced rum of the NFL. One more final Talking Giants tailgate this weekend against the Saints. Sorry we're not doing one for the Ravens or the Colts game, but we figured that there could be a scenario this year. We did a good job of anything events related this year. I said to our team and I said to our company, We need the Giants shouldn't be this bad, but just in case, we need to plan and act like they're going to be really bad in the month of December. So we need to get everything that we want to do out of the freaking way. So yeah, this is the last tailgate. Unfortunately, the Giants suck. So I don't, and it's cold and everything like that. So if you want to come see us, come out to that. I will be there. I don't know if anybody else. Jolly, you want to go to the Giants game on Sunday? Maybe. Wow, Jolly Olive, I got a maybe out of him.
We should do the Colts game for a tailgate.
Well, we're not. I will be there. Jolly will be there. Dalton will be there. Some other people may be there for the Colts game. So come hang out with us for the Colts game. But link to the tickets is in the description of this show. Captain Morgan, they've been the official L16 spiced rum for a couple years now, even before they were officially on board with us. The NFL seasons where legends are born on and off the field. Some are of last-second plays that turn the tide and change a team's destiny, while others are friends who follow the captain from within to make a regular get-together into the stuff of legends. So grab your crew, grab a captain and a cola. Make it a story to remember, because legends start when you follow the captain. Visit followthecaptain.com for more. Please drink responsibly. Captain Morgan Original Spice Rum, 35% alcohol by volume. Captain Morgan Rum Company in New York, New York. You'd be glad you did. And I also want to thank Captain Morgan. I think they're going to be with us and JM Football a lot in Q1 of this year for like the postseason and maybe some Super Bowl stuff. So I'm excited for that. Thank you to Captain Morgan. Support them because they support us. You'd be glad you did.
All right, we now welcome on our weatherman, Jolly Olive. Jolly, what's the weather looking like for the Giants hosting the Saints in East Rutherford, New Jersey, MetLife Stadium? The final Talking Giants tailgate of the year, unless we decide to do the Colts. What are we looking at for weather?
It's been a cold week in the tri-state area, but the good news is that the warmest day of the week is going to be this Sunday. It's going to be, high 40s, which is not exactly warm.
I'll take it.
But it's been cold here. It's been like mid 30s. So you're going to get high 40s, partly cloudy. There's supposed to rain on Monday, but this is a 1 p.m. game, so I don't think you're going to catch any of that rain. You might get like a little sprinkle, but I think the showers are supposed to start
Will
at
there
night.
be a sprinkler or will there not be?
I'm going to go ahead and say no. There's going to be no rain. I think the rain probably starts at like 7 p.m. and bleeds into the next day. That's my guess. And it's a confident guess.
Stop saying guess. You're a weatherman.
It's an educated assumption.
No, don't assume. You have to tell us what's going to happen. Again, you don't become one of these corporate weathermen who just gives themselves out.
You know what they say about assuming?
It makes an ass.
Out of you and me.
Out of you. It's not going to rain.
All right, it's not going to rain. All right, what do we have for trivia this week? Giants Saints. I feel like there's been some good games in this great rivalry.
Bobby, I feel like you can. I kind of want you to guess what you think the trivia question will be, because I feel like sometimes you have like theories about what it might be.
Is it going to be the 52-49 game?
Ding, 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 ding.
It has to be.
This is like I know they lost. This was like one of the more entertaining games I've ever watched.
No team had any more fun losses than that year's New York Giants.
I agree.
Like the Panthers game, Saints game, the Patriots game. Like there was never more fun losses.
I'm very passionate about the 2015 Giants. Can I tell you why I thought they were going to win the Super Bowl that year very quickly?
Please tell me.
They lost to the Carolina Panthers 38-35, where the Carolina Panthers MVP winner Cam Newton,
that was their year,
number one seed in the NFC, right? Yep. In 2011, they lost to the Green Bay Packers during the regular season 38-35. Aaron Rodgers MVP, Packers number one seed. 2007, the Giants lost to the Patriots 38-35. Tom Brady MVP. Patriots number one seed,
and it was a year they played the Patriots. It was like, all right, just every 4 years we get Giants Saints in the playoffs, or Giants Patriots in the Super Bowl.
Yep, and I'm like, all right, so 2007, 2011, 2015, it's written in the stars.
Giants started that year 5-4. They lost 6 of their next 7 games.
Yeah, they didn't
I was at their last game. I was at their last win, which ended up being Tom Coughlin's. 5 of those losses were by 1 score.
Yes, it was
5 one-score losses.
And the division stunk that year, and I was at their last win, that Dolphins game, which ended up being Tom Coughlin's last win. And it was like, okay, division stinks this year. We're clearly making the playoffs. And they just, like you said, they just lost game after game by 1 score.
Tough. And they did lose this matchup with your Narlands Saints, but it was a very eventful matchup. The final score was 52-49 in favor of the Saints. 8 different players scored a touchdown that game. All of the touchdowns in that game were receiving touchdowns, not a single rushing touchdown. So with that little bit of information, I want you guys to send me as many names as you can, 8 being the maximum. I won't take more than 8. And you're going to try and tell me every player that scored a touchdown in that game. There's no penalty for wrong answers. I'm just going to count points for the right answers that you give me.
I have a question. So
Yes.
if someone had multiple touchdowns, do they count for multiple points, or it just counts to
Great
getting one
question, Bobby Skinner. It will not count for multiple points.
right? Okay.
So one guy scored 3 times, multiple guys scored twice. You'll get 1 point for one correct name.
So I remember the Giants ones clearly.
And by the way, for those who don't know, the trivia is ongoing this year. It's the winner at the end of the year gets a Giants jersey of their choosing. It is amazing that you guys are tied this deep into the season. It's 16-16, so it's still anybody's game. And this is not just for Giants players, by the way. You can submit Saints players as well. There's 8 different players.
Hey, what happens if we get somebody? So if we get someone wrong, we're fine, right?
If you get someone wrong, you're fine. No penalty, none whatsoever. I want 8 names, but send me as many as you can because I understand,
Who was on the Saints?
you just can't think of the 2015 Saints. I understand,
This should be like deciding of what ends up winning. There's so many names. But here's the thing, me and Justin are probably going to get a lot of these right.
There's been big swings this year. I feel like both of you have had multiple point leads.
What's
I
that
have
guy's
7
face?
names
Oh,
right now. I'm trying to think of the 8th.
Such a ridiculous final score.
All right, I just sent you 2 Saints names.
Okay.
I'm finished.
He is done. So Penik sent me a total of 7 names.
This last name I'm throwing in there, I'm pretty sure he was off the Saints at this point, but I'm
Yeah, why not?
I'm
No
gonna
penalty,
throw it
right?
on there.
Why not? Penik, if you
I
think
just-
of the
I
last
just sent
second
you
name,
8.
can send it. Okay.
I know the Giants ones for sure, and then the Saints ones. The Saints. I know 3 of them. The other one I'm not sure.
We will start with Justin Penik, who sent me 7 names. There was only 3 Giants that scored a receiving touchdown in that game. 3 of them belonged to OBJ, which is why the number was so small. He is a correct answer for you. So that's 1
Dwayne
point.
Harris.
You also had Dwayne Harris for multiple, and Shane Vereen scored 1 as well. So Penik locked in 3 points there. You also sent me Kenny Stills and Jimmy Graham. Neither of those were Saints that
Graham
scored a
was
touchdown.
gone.
So you end with 3 points as your score.
I can't remember who their tight end was, but I know Graham was gone.
Let's see, Bobby Skinner. You also had Odell, Dwayne Harris, and Shane Vereen, so you also get those 3 points. Did you get any of the Saints? You did. Brandon Cooks had multiple touchdowns. Willie Snead had multiple touchdowns. Marquez Colston scored a touchdown,
He was still around in
which is
2015.
crazy.
Colson's like, I think, isn't Colson like their leading receiver all time?
He
in
is,
Saints
all
He
time.
history?
is. Yeah, we
Yeah.
just did this for an NFL trivia video, actually. Mark Ingram had a good game, but didn't score a touchdown.
Damn it.
So you'll get 3 more points than Penik got because you got
So
Colston,
I'm assuming
Snead, and
was
Cooks.
Pierre Thomas even on that team? I don't think so, right?
I don't think he was. Benjamin
look that up
Watson
right
was their tight end that year. He actually had a pretty
I
decent
love
year, if I remember
Benjamin
correctly.
Watson.
And then the toughest one, in my opinion, was CJ Spiller.
CJ
I think it-
Spiller. I didn't even know he was on that team.
I think it was like a
I never
red
even
zone,
played on
like,
the Saints.
short touchdown. So,
Wait a
with
second.
that
Was he
beefy trivia round.
He was traded. Pierre Thomas was traded from the Saints that year. Son of a
So he
bitch.
was on the Saints that year. I didn't know that.
Yeah,
thought he was
he
gone by
wasn't for that game though because he got traded.
He was already traded at that point. Okay.
I think.
So Penik got
Right.
3, Bobby got 6. So the score as of right now is Bobby Skinner 22, Justin Penik 19.
Wait, Justin, you only got 3. You didn't get any of the Saints.
I didn't get any of the Saints. I had no
It's a brain
memory of
fart.
the 2015
The Saints were the X factor of that trivia question,
Yeah.
which is why I liked it.
Imagine throwing 6 passing touchdowns in a game, and it's like, yeah, not as much as the other guy though, buddy.
Yeah. Good job, boys.
All right, so what'd you say the score was?
22-19, Bobby's favor.
22-19. We got 4 weeks left. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Still room to play, but yeah, it's getting tight.
Will the last week be something that Justin can make up the mark? Actually, we'll talk about it.
I'm going to make sure that he has a
chance.
chance to come back. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
It's not like a foregone conclusion.
It's we had like 18 answers.
Yeah.
I think. Who name all the Giants players to score a touchdown versus the Eagles over the last 20 years?
Name every Giant to ever score a touchdown.
All right, fantasy where we draft players from the New York Giants team and the opponent's team. This week's going to be rough. The Giants are bad. The Saints are so freaking injured. Jolly had a good week last week with 46.9 points. He's still in last, but he's 65 points back. So it's improbable, but he's not out of it. Justin had the worst week with 21.9. He's 19.7 points out of me. And then I have 31 points. I'm still in first. Still trying to win 3 in a row. But for the first week this year, I'm not on pace to break the record. Would need like 40-something points to do that. I have the first pick this week. I don't know if I want the first pick, but I also know the first pick is so easy. The Giants' run defense is awful. They have no receivers to throw to for the Saints. Alvin Kamara. Like, I may just get 35 points just off of Alvin Kamara and get 3 out of the rest of this draft. Alvin Kamara is the first pick.
Tyron Tracy's the second pick.
Yeah.
Wow.
No, I think I agree.
But you guys agreed last week, and Neighbors got more points than them.
That's true. It's true. I want to say 2 things. One, I think this might be the easiest, like most clear-cut 1-1 we've had, just in like terms of where the teams are and like the situation and stuff. 2, shout out Rico Dowdle. He's like a big reason I had a nice week last week.
Poor Rico.
Shout out.
I feel pretty comfortable taking MVS 3. He's had 3 pretty good games in a row. I know he's like kind of boom or bust. Like he either just doesn't do anything or he has a big reception. He's my 3rd pick, and then I'll take Neighbors 4. I know he's questionable, but I'm pretty sure he's going to play. So,
yeah, he's playing.
Yeah.
Why you took Neighbors? Okay. What you think MVS is going to have more points than Neighbors?
Has 4 touchdowns the last 3 weeks.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't believe in Drew Lock at all. So I don't. I feel like there's just like a hard ceiling for anything our wide receivers can do with him under center.
All right, Justin, you have your second pick.
Oh joy.
I liked oh joy.
I don't know. I just don't know where to go from here.
I was really happy to have the wraparound because I feel like those were like the last 2 players that could make a dent.
The one pick I didn't want was Justin's pick in all this.
Give me Wan'Dale Robinson.
Sure, yeah.
He hasn't been the PPR scam that he was earlier in the year.
No.
Yeah, he was nice in fantasy early in the year.
And you're not going to really see that with Drew Law. I need it in my actually fantasy champion playoffs this year. I got the bye week this year. Feeling good.
Nice. Good for you.
So he's going Wan'Dale Robinson. I'm going to take Darius Slayton, the most polarizing player on the Giants now, with my second pick. And so this is the tradable slot with my 3rd pick. And I'm going to go Jawan Johnson, the tight end from the Saints. He was limited on practice on Wednesday. Not sure how it ended up on Thursday. But anyways, I'm going to go Jawan Johnson with my 3rd pick. Justin, your 3rd pick. Have fun, buddy.
This is just awful.
I think there's a good Giants pick here for you, potentially.
A good Giants pick?
Well, not good, but good is a strong word, but like a not 0, maybe.
Foster Moreau.
That's not who I thought you were going to. Okay.
Foster Moreau. We got backup tight end going right now.
So that's me.
I hate this week. This
so
much.
On a big board on a big board that was really thin this week. I had 4 people above Foster Moreau. Justin, Jolly, who's your last 2 picks?
I hope that one of them is my next pick, the backup running back for the Saints, Jamal Williams. But he hasn't done much at all.
They don't give him anything.
I know, but like maybe
they're paying him a good amount of money. Too.
Here's my theory: is that Kamara has a monster game and they take him out in the 4th quarter.
Oh, can we tell the Kamara story, Justin, to Jolly? I don't think you've ever heard this.
No, you never heard this.
I haven't heard this.
So you know how we went to the NASCAR.
Before you start, my last pick is Jalen Hyatt. There you go.
Wait, what were you have 2 picks? So
Yeah,
Jamal Williams and
Jamal
Jalen
Williams,
Hyatt?
Jalen Hyatt.
Dude, if you may have won the championship this year if you just never took Jalen Hyatt.
Yeah, but I went down with pride and heart.
So the Alvin Kamara story is me and Justin were in one of the really nice suites for the Daytona 500. Not the 500, but the
truck race.
The truck race.
Friday night.
And we had extra tickets in this suite, so I invited my 2 brothers and my cousin. And we got pretty banged up in there, and Alvin Kamara was in there. And it was rained out, right? So like we're just sitting in there, just like I said, getting a little banged up, which we rarely do too, you know. So it was like a special occasion. and Alvin Kamara's in there, and we're in there like talking like we could probably beat the shit out of him, right?
Context is this was shortly after his incident.
Yeah, so he got arrested for hitting somebody, and we were like, we like pulled up the picture or the video, and we were saying like, trying to like dare each other to go up to him, like, is this you? Of the video of him, not a picture of him playing football or anything, but
hey, can you sign my phone? And it's just the video
of him fighting somebody.
So here's my POV from this.
Sure.
My POV of this is a family of Skinners that are all 6'4", 6'5", or taller. Just looking at Alvin Kamara, and they're all looking at each other like, can we take him? Could we take? And I'm like, this is fucking whack.
How tall is Alvin Kamara? How tall is he?
I mean, we obviously weren't like we were just literally just busting balls, like joking, like we weren't actually debating.
I mean, each of them are a full head taller than Alvin Kamara.
Yeah, of course we could. It was just funny to joke about, like sitting in a suite joking about. Instead of being like, oh, we should get this guy's autograph, it's like, can we be like,
should we beat the shit out of him?
You know, it wasn't. We weren't actually calculating, you know, and making our decision based.
The
off
odds were in your favor.
Yeah, we weren't making a decision based off of that debate. It was more of just fucking around. But
do I have one more player to select?
Yeah, and so does
this.
Bobby.
I do too. Joel Thomas revenge game for the Saints running back coach, Giants running back coach now. Justin, your final pick.
Yeah, I have 70 million tight ends on my roster, I believe. I mean, there's also Cedric Wilson.
Take Bellinger.
Yeah, I will take the Giants starting tight end, Daniel Bellinger.
There you go.
Are you sure he's going to be the starter though?
Oh, Jim. What is Greg Dulcich?
So I thought I was going to be in a position to take Greg Dulcich. I can't believe Cedric Wilson Jr. is a starting wide receiver for them. You guys left him on the board. Kevin Austin Jr. may be starting, but Bub Means might start if he comes back from injury. You know, he was in practice. You have Devin Singletary who gets carries.
Don't act like there's any outrageous person that we left off the board for this.
Dude, you left off starting wide receivers for a guy who has 2 catches on the entire year.
Yeah, well, Theo Johnson died, so maybe he'll
I think
more.
There's a higher likelihood that Greg Dulcich has more yards than Daniel Bellinger. I wouldn't take any because I don't know, but like Bellinger's not going to get shit. If he does, congrats. I'll own it. But
Jalen Hyde had 2 catches last week, by the way.
So I thought I was going to be fun and have Greg Dulcich. I'm going to go Cedric Wilson Jr. I mean, he's a starting wide receiver for them.
That's a good team.
I'm actually really excited about my team this week. All right, so myself in first place has Kamara, Slayton, Jawan Johnson, and Cedric Wilson Jr. Justin in second, 20 points back. Tyrone Tracy, Wandale Robinson, Foster Moreau, and Daniel Bellinger. And then Jolly, 65 points back. MVS, Neighbors, Jamal Williams, and Jalen Hyatt.
I like my team.
I don't. I hate your team.
You always hate my team.
You're last.
Hey!
Like, I wouldn't even feel great about your team if it was my backups. All right. Giant Factors. Justin, who are Giant Factors brought to us by this week?
Oh, our Giant Factors are brought to us by Factor. How do you like that? Notice how the days are shorter, but your to-do lists aren't. Power through your busy days with Factor's no prep, no mess meals. And Factor is something that I've spent my hard-earned money on. Like, I love Factor that much. I get home after a hard, long day, and I'm able to pop a quick meal in the microwave, and I put it on a plate, and damn, it looks good. I don't even think that it's from the microwave. Jolly, I know you love Factor.
I like Factor a lot.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah. It's even around the office, but I get it from home. I get it everywhere. I love it so much. Don't let shorter days slow you down. Stay energized with America's #1 ready-to-eat meal delivery service. You can choose from 6 menu preferences to help you manage calories, maximize protein intake, avoid meat, or simply eat well balanced. And check this out. Factor is cheaper than takeout and dining out. That is true. Put the money you save towards holiday shopping or reaching for your financial goals. And here's how you can even make it cheaper. When you can head to factormeals.com/50giants and use our code 50giants to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping. That's code 50giants at factormeals.com/50giants to get 50% off your first box plus free shipping while your subscription is active. You will be glad you did. Take it from me.
Be glad you did. Giant Factors this week. I'm actually really excited about mine. His twin brother was suspended this week, and he won't play against the Giants. But the real one, he's going to play. This is somebody that we are invested in training camp. This guy was getting first-team reps at linebacker in training camp, and this was somebody that we liked as a UDFA out of Toledo in 2023. Had a decent preseason, and then he got hurt in the preseason after playing some good preseason games. Deontay Johnson, you get your first NFL action this week. Maybe, might be starting with Bobby Okereke out. They might even put you into that role instead of, sliding Micah McFadden over. I'm interested to see how you look. I'm not going to fully judge him, playing defensive, playing linebacker behind a D line of Elijah Chapman and DJ Davidson and Jordan Riley. So I'm not going to fully judge him, positively or negatively. But I'm interested to see just what you look like on an NFL field. Can you make a play or two in coverage? Can you get a tackle for a loss and make a couple of run stops? Look like you belong in the NFL this week, Deontay Johnson. And we'll see how you can, stack up as possible linebacker depth, going into your third year in the NFL. I'm glad you've been activated off IR. I'm excited to see you. Let's see how much of that training camp translates. Deontay Johnson, go in the game and be a giant factor. Justin, who's your giant factor?
It's a great giant factor. Anxious to see if he'll be
so
on
excited for giant factor this week so I can talk about Deontay Johnson.
Excited to see if he'll be on the game day inactive list. What are the chances?
I don't think they'd activate him to put him on the game day inactives because that costs more money when you activate a guy off IR.
It's true. That's such a great point. Daniel Bellinger. I don't have much of an inspiring speech, but Theo Johnson goes down, and there's always an opportunity when somebody goes down, and you may possibly get more reps. So Daniel Bellinger, go out there, be a giant factor, maybe make some plays. Remind us that, hey, you're a decent draft pick. You could be a tight end 2 in the NFL. You could be a tight end 2 on this Giants team going forward. There's an opportunity for more snaps. Daniel Bellinger may get it. Go out there, be a giant factor, man. Bring us back to 2022.
How about that? Bring us back to 2022. Jolly, who's your week 14 giant factor?
Bobby, I'm glad you had a good one that you were excited about because I also don't have an impassioned speech. My giant factor this week is Cordell Flott. We just did a short for Talking Giants where we painstakingly discussed the best draft picks of the Shane era, and I was disheartened to not even be able to include Cordell Flott, even though the list was so thin. This is a pretty favorable matchup for him. This is not a very potent passing offense. The wide receiver talent on the Saints is not really there right now. Deonte Banks is out of the circle of trust and also injured. So this is a good opportunity for Cordell Flott to kind of build his stock back up as this year winds down and maybe, carve out a spot for himself on next year's Giants roster because that is looking like it's very in flux, especially in the cornerback department. So Cordell Flott, go out there and have like a nice game, play above what people believe your standard is right now. Be a giant factor.
I was surprised no one picked Corey Durden, the guy we got from the Rams this week.
Yeah. Missed
Have
out.
you guys seen? I've taken over play calling for the Talking Giants Instagram. What do you guys? Yay or nay? Yay or nay on the Instagram new play calling?
I saw it, and you've made decisions.
You had one post that made me laugh today. Wait, I think it was the Penik post.
Well, the Greg Van Roten post was pretty good.
Oh, he did not win Player of the Week.
Well, no, that
was a tweet.
Yeah. What team is Greg Van Roten going to be when he goes into the Hall of Fame? What team is he going to retire with?
Giants.
Or go into the Hall of Fame with? There's a lot of options.
The Justin Not Dead one. My favorite one was the Evan Neal, where it looks like he's rushing the passer, and it's got the Linkin Park song. What I've done. That one was good. The one that got the most traction was Corey Durden. I had the picture of my camera roll, and I was like, Giants signed this guy. I forgot what his name was. Which I did at that moment, and people really it's you got to laugh through the pain. You know what I mean? Like to get through these last 5 weeks, I think if you're just yelling about Joe Shane and Brian Daboll nonstop, you're going to lose your mind. So let's have fun. I don't think people thought it was funny as I did, but I was like, the Giants signed Jakob Johnson to the practice squad, and then responded, just kidding, just because I wanted to get people like, again?
I like
believed
that,
it.
that one guy that responded that was like, how many times have you guys tweeted this exact tweet this year? Because I think it's like 15.
I keep track of all the transactions. I think there was like 11 or 12 for him this year. All right, let's get into spread picks. We're going to wait on asking Jolly to talk to about something because we just talked about something.
That's fine.
Spread picks. Jolly's getting hot. He went 7-1 last week. He's in first place at 56-48. Justin at 6-2 last week is in second at 53-51, so he's above 500. Listeners, it's been rough sledding. 1-7 last week. They're 4-20 over the last 3 weeks, but they're still in third at 49-55. I feel like I finished 3-5 every week. I'm in last at 47-57. My goal now is just to pass the listeners. 500's probably out of reach. Thursday night football. We got a good one. A real good one. Maybe even game of the week. It is game of the week. We got Packers at Lions -3. The listeners represented by Tyler C are going Lions -3. Jolly, who do you got? You're in first place. You get to go first.
I'm excited for this game. Big week for Tyler. He's got to pick up the listeners. This is a big week for him, too. I will ride with him. I'm going to go Lions -3 as well.
Listeners started going down when Danny Behan and Ian Sheehan picked for him. I'm going to go Packers. Go Pack up.
Hey, so finally you guys disagree on one, so maybe Justin can pull within 2 games before
You had a great week last week, too.
Thank you.
kickoff.
6-2.
Remember when I was in last?
6-2, and I gained ground on you. That's messed up.
Wow.
I'm going to go Lions as well. I'm picking the better team in this game, and they're at home.
Yep.
Thursday night football, I feel like they're a little more. I feel like the Lions are a little more pumped for like a primetime spot than the Packers. Kirk Cousins' revenge game. Falcons at Vikings -6. Things aren't going well in Atlanta right now. 3 straight losses. That being said, I think the Falcons get back on track. They get a surprise win versus the Vikings. I'm going to go Falcons +6. The listeners are getting Falcons +6. Justin, what do you got?
Damn.
Vikings.
Okay.
I don't think this game is going to be close.
I could see it being this way, where I'm like talking myself into the Falcons somehow this week, and then the Vikings just win by 30 points. Jolly.
Yeah, all my rationale for leaning Falcons is like just narrative stuff that doesn't make any sense and actually apply
But
to
it
football.
does make a little bit of sense. You know what I mean?
I feel like
Know what I mean?
the Bucks are going to win the NFC South. And I feel like this Falcons slide will continue. And I know that like last week I was kind of like, well, the Vikings, like their magic will run out, but I just think they're the better team.
The NFL as a product needs the Tampa Bay Buccaneers in the playoffs
agree.
and not the Falcons and that defense and whatever's going to happen with them.
So I'm also going Vikings -6.
All right. All right. Jags at Titans -3.5. Aziz did you see, Justin? We did our segment on Aziz Al-Shir on Football Today.
You saw his Instagram post, right?
Yeah, it's like, dude, fuck this guy. Like,
Come
seriously,
on.
like you guys are gonna go, Texans are gonna cry pity for. Like, I was kind of on their side with the suspension thing. Now I'm like, you know what? I'm glad they suspended. I wish I'd be happy if they suspended you for 6 games. It's because you're an asshole. Not very many good games this week with the bye weeks finishing up, but this has tank implications. Jags at Titans -3.5. Justin, Justin, who do you got?
Jags cover.
Really?
Do they win?
Wow.
Yes.
Wow. I'm surprised. Wow.
I disagree. I think the Titans, as bad as they are a significantly better team than what the Jags are without Trevor Lawrence. I'm going Titans. Listeners are going Titans. Jolly, what do you got?
Yeah, I'm also going Titans. I just feel like the Jags look so bad after Lawrence came out of the game last week, and I just feel like getting a full game of Mac Jones, even against like a Titans defense that isn't that great, it's not going to look pretty. So give me Titans -3.5.
All right. Seahawks at Cardinals -2.5. First place in the NFC West on the line here. Jolly, what do you got in this one?
This one's interesting. I think I'm going to roll with the Seahawks to cover here. I think I have the Cardinals winning a tight game, though.
I think the Cardinals are going to win, but I don't have a ton of confidence, so it kind of makes me want to take Seahawks in the points. But I'm going to go Cardinals. I think they've lost 2 games in a row. Cardinals -2.5. The listeners also agree with me. Justin, what about you?
Arizona. 8-4 against the spread this year.
Next game, Jolly, why don't you talk to us about something?
Oh, I'd be happy to. I'd be happy to talk to you about the DraftKings Sportsbook. Guys,
What a fitting
grab
ad.
your favorite team's jersey and some snacks and head to the couch for another Sunday of action-packed football and get even closer to the action each Sunday with our partners at the DraftKings Sportsbook, because right now, all new customers who bet just $5 will get $150 in bonus bets if your bet wins when you use promo code world. And don't forget to stay in on the action and use your $150 in bonus bets on some DraftKings same-game parlays for a shot at an even bigger payout, like I did last Sunday when I cashed in a parlay on the Steelers game. So download the DraftKings Sportsbook app now and use code WORLD. That's promo code WORLD only at the DraftKings Sportsbook. You'll be glad you did.
You'll be glad you did. Bills at Rams plus 3.5. I kind of like the Rams, right? The Rams have not been the best as of late, but they just stay at 500 or above 500 or one game below. I think they go one game above. Bills are riding high. Rams are hungry. I'm going Rams and that rookie class that I love so much, plus 3.5. The listeners are as well. Justin, what are you going?
Circle the wagons. Danny King. The Bills are an unstoppable force right now.
Yeah, I can't go against the Bills. Yeah. I'm with you as well.
I think I picked Bills in that against the spread league thing because Dalton picked one team and then tried to go back. Anyway.
Yep, then he tried to go back, yeah.
Wait, Bears, what? Really?
No, it was stupid to explain on this podcast. Bears at 49ers minus 4. Jolly, who do you got?
You know, I'm happy to report because I don't think I've picked them in like the past 6 weeks. I think I'm going to go with the Chicago Bears, who just fired their head coach because I'm following
you're finally buying into
the mantra of Bobby and Justin. I actually fully believe it this week. I think everyone in that locker room wanted to see that guy go, and I think they're going to play with a little bit of hair on fire this week. Give me the Bears.
We converted him, Justin, after him being like, I don't really buy into that, and then
didn't the Jets lose when you guys tried to apply the logic?
They covered the spread, and the Jets, the Saints won with Darren Rizzi. Well, here's the thing: is the Jets did the wrong thing. They hired the
Jets hired the wrong interim
right.
coach.
We talked about this. Right. Of course.
So I mean, I'm going Bears as well. I mean, the interim head coach.
This might be a sweep.
This is honestly the least confident in an interim head coach I've been. But dude, I follow a lot of Bears people, so I see Bears Twitter. They're like talking themselves into like keeping Thomas Brown because they've had like 2 decent games on offense the last 2 weeks.
I was just telling Penik, I saw your guy Robert Schmidt romanticizing the Matt Nagy era, so it's getting pretty dark over there.
Yeah, that's basically like us with like Pat Shurmur a little bit because it's true. Like Bears fans hate Matt Nagy. Compare him to like their last 4 coaches. Like he won Coach of the Year. He made the playoffs. They're a double doink away from making a playoff. Like he had Mitchell Trubisky as his quarterback. Like saw he couldn't make chicken salad out of that. Now he also had Vic Fangio coaching that defense, and that probably made a big difference with all that talent. But
that's a good point.
I mean that is the most fun Bears year for the last 10 years is Matt Nagy. God, but he's also like clear, like stop doing this interim coach bullshit or Mike Vrabel bullshit. Go get a great offensive mind. Listeners are going Bears. Justin, I mean I'm assuming you're going there Bears too.
Yeah, I am. And 6 days ago, I placed a bet on the DraftKings Sportsbook, a 2-pick parlay. The Bears were +6 a couple days ago. It actually went down to 49ers -4 and Bears +4. Yeah, so I'm picking the Bears to cover, but I have a 2-pick parlay of Bears +6 and Saints -4 +264 right now.
That's pretty good.
Yeah, every week I'm betting against the Giants.
We made rules saying you can't bet against the Giants.
You're hedging. At a time like this.
I did it 6 days ago.
Can you at least not tell the listeners that? How about that?
When did we talk about it?
You're hedging in your prep.
On the post-game pod.
I broke it the next day. I broke that rule the next day.
That's unbelievable.
I'm sorry.
Chargers at Chiefs -4. You know what? It's crazy. I want to gain ground on the listeners. This is the only game of the week that we disagree on. They're going Chiefs -4. I need the Chargers to split with the Chiefs this year. I'm going Chargers +4. Justin.
I'm going Chargers. I think they win the game.
Me too.
I need them to win the game. I want them to win the game.
I thought you guys were going to go Chiefs, and I was going to pull the rug out from under you. I feel like the Chargers need this game way more than the Chiefs do. So
by the way, we were all right picking the Raiders last week too. We all thought like that was going to be our wild pick, and it ended up working out for us.
Nice.
Final game, Monday Night Football. I also almost didn't put this game on just so we could get the spread picks over with Sunday, but it is the next best one. We got Bengals at Cowboys +5.5. I mean, the Cowboys just aren't good enough to stay up to pace with the Bengals boat race. So I think that the Bengals actually get this by quite a bit. Bengals -5.5. Listeners agree. Jolly, how about you?
Yeah, I'm also going Bengals. I mean, I thought their offense looked superb last week, and the Cowboys just, in my opinion, are not a good roster right now. So give me the Bengals.
Justin?
Yeah, I'll agree. I don't love it though, because this is a big spread.
me on Thanksgiving.
Nice.
All right. Score predictions.
Made us wait.
Just every week we do that. Jolly, what's your score prediction for New Orleans Saints at New York Giants, 1 o'clock in East Rutherford, New Jersey, MetLife Stadium?
Alvin Kamara has his best game of the season.
Which is saying something.
The Saints put up 28 points, but the Giants and Jalen Hyatt gets his first receiving touchdown. 28-7, your final score.
The first. Let me ask you this: Will Jalen Hyatt ever score a touchdown for the New York Giants?
Let's not talk about this now.
But
There's another number 13 who did score from the New York Giants playing in this game. Jolly trivia.
Dante-
Who is that?
Oh,
I don't know.
Dante Pettis.
Yeah.
Oh, nice. I wouldn't have got that.
He also just scored last week too. Isn't it for the Saints? No, he's not.
Yes. What do you mean in
yeah,
this
Saints.
game?
Oh,
Justin.
Lock in.
Saints 30, Giants 13.
Nice.
Giants piss me off so much, and I'm getting tired. Like, they've made this unfun. They truly have. But I already used the 2-0. I can't do it again. Giants 77, Saints 0. Check us out for a recap podcast on Monday or Sunday night or whenever we frickin' do it. We appreciate you guys as always. We'll see you then. Until then, let's go Big Blue.